Hey, welcome back to another SUPboarder independent review, and this week we're going to look at the Quatro Glide Air inflatable paddleboard. So a little bit about Quatro before we start. Quatro are a brand based in Maui, originally making windsurfing equipment, high class, good level windsurfing, wave surfing equipment, and in the last 2 or 3 years they've come into SUP. 2 years ago they had hardboards, and this year they've brought an inflatable board range out too. So specifications for the Quatro Glide Air: 10 foot long, 33 inches wide, 6 inches thick, comes in at 265 litres in volume, recommended PSI pressure of 15, it weighs 11 kilograms, and it retails at $949. It's made of linear drop stitch, which is drop stitch you can see if you look down the board it's in a line, opposed to the square sort of style drop stitch, so it's a linear drop stitch. Some brands prefer this because it keeps down the weight, and a top quality PVC layer on top of the drop stitch. Obviously it comes with a bag and a pump. The pump is a high pressure, sort of smaller diameter pump, all logoed up nicely, well finished. Quite like the fact on the pump here, it's got a lot of, instead of twist fittings, it's got like clip-in fittings, so you can't overdo the threads and stuff on these pumps. That's really nice. Pump's not massive, it does pump the board up quite fine, quite adequately, 15 psi. Takes a little bit longer than normal, obviously because it's a thinner diameter, but the pump does the job fine. Bag, just a nice simple, heavy duty though well made stuff sack. Nice drainage holes on the side, nice and lightweight with backpack straps. So the bag's okay. With our SUPboarder Deflection Test we put this board through with 75 kilograms of weight on the top and a gap of 1.5 meters apart. It dropped 20 millimeters, so that's quite a good deflection test for a 6-inch board. Okay, so who's this board aimed for? This board is aimed for, it's an all-round paddleboard, being 10 foot, but it is 33 wide, so it is quite stable for its length. Most 10 foot boards are around the sort of 30, 32, so 33 is going to give you a bit more stability. It's got quite a bit of a thinner tail, so basically if you find that you want to do a bit more surf and stuff like that, you could push into that sort of thing. It is still going to surf like an iSUP, so unfortunately you're not going to be able to crank the turns in like you would on a normal board. And it's also designed, it's got little carry points, you can put stuff down, put your sandals on the front and stuff like that as well. So it's an all-round iSUP designed for a mid to slightly heavyweight rider. Okay, so our impressions of the Quatro Glide Air 10 foot. It's a very nice looking board. It's very well finished off. I really like the graphics and the colourway they've chosen on this. Nice, the way they've in-cut the deck pads and the different colourways. It's all finished off really well. Nice deep carry handle with a padded strap over there. That's a nice little feature. As I say, the look of it and everything, I like the graphics. I think it looks really smart. The underneath of the board, at the back end of the board, we've got quite a big fin really, to be honest, but it's one of these flexi fins, so you don't worry about damaging that. You can run out the beach, not going to knock any fin boxes out. The little fins are quite neat as well. You'd probably find if you stuck a slightly more wave-based stiffer fin in here, it would make a massive difference to the surfing. Right now for cruising and just putting down the river, that's fine, but if you were going to do some surfing, I'd take that out straight away and put a more of a swept back stiffer fin in. Putting a hard fin in on an iSUP will actually make performance much better for surfing because of the lack of rail shape, so put a hard stiff fin in there, that's a nice thing. The bottom shape's fine, it's nice and flat, it's got a little bit of tail kick, a nice amount of nose kick, so it's all finished off well from that sense. On the SUPboarder board reviews we always talk about negatives and value for money, and I'm going to have to put those two together for the end of this because that is this only board's downside. At $949 it is quite an expensive iSUP and it's up there with the top expensive ones. It does come from a very good Quatro windsurfing board brand, so if you've used the Quatro boards and you've seen them in the flesh and the hard boards, you know the build quality is 100%. It does come across in their iSUP, but it is at the top end price point. The SUPboarder verdict for the Quatro Glide Air. This is a top end quality SUP, but you're going to have to pay a top end quality price. Probably one of the funkiest looking iSUPs we've reviewed so far, and designed for a mid to heavyweight rider to get you on the water doing all sorts of paddling.